Hey everyone, it's Jordan with Little Joys, and today I'm going to show you a delicious recipe that is keto friendly. It's going to make you feel like you're cheating, but I swear you're not. It is so good. And I'm the cook of the house, and typically whenever I make something, I can not even look at like a recipe book or any form of guidelines. Give me whatever's in the kitchen, whatever's in the pantry, and I'll make something great. And this was supposed to start off as a roast, but somehow it turned into like the stroganoff. I don't know how to describe it, but I absolutely loved it. My wife loves it. She's actually at work right now. It's actually like 9:30 at night right now, and I just got home from work. I mean, I just threw all like my work stuff there, and I was like, let me make this video real quick. Let's get this rolling so that people who want to do something for dinner or lunch tomorrow, they'll have something great to eat. And like I said, it's keto friendly. And what do I mean by friendly instead of being, I guess you say keto, is the fact that I'm going to be making a large batch of it because I'm going to be sharing it with my family, sending some to my mom for my sisters to eat. And with that being said, if you are on a very super strict, like you only want to eat X amount of this and that, which is what I measure myself too, this might be a difficult thing to make unless you make a super small portion of it, which is very doable. But this will be a great in terms of, you know, a midday meal or anything along those lines. But let's get started because I'm rambling on and you would love to see how this is made. It's super simple, super easy, and it's cheap. So let's get Alright, this meal is so easy to make, you only need a basket. You don't need to get a cart, nothing crazy. Shouldn't cost you much, shouldn't weigh much, so you'll be good to go. Alright, first off, some baby spinach, just one container of it. Don't know how much you like to make, but I'm going to be using this entire thing for my meal. And unfortunately, they don't have any diced mushrooms. Oh, here we go. I meant sliced, not diced. One pack will do you just fine. Now, no matter how much you're making, one large sweet onion will be perfect. I mean, you really won't need all of this, but that's up to you totally on that one. More than likely, I'll use about half of this, maybe even 3/4 of it. Let's see, what else? It's so quiet. Almost no one's here. This is why I like coming late. Plus, when you vlog, people don't think you're crazy talking to your phone or talking to yourself. Let's move on to the next one. Now, when I first made this meal, I used this Angus flake steak. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm actually going to try something else because one, like I said, I'm making a lot more of it. So we're going to mosey on down over here. It's already cut up for me. Almost 3 pounds of meat. That should be enough for as many people as I want to make. Granted, 17 bucks, but whatever. Can't complain. Alright, now let's go on to the other meat. Alright, now people who are on keto know that bacon is love and bacon is life. But with this meal, I'll be using a lower sodium bacon. We've been eating bacon a little bit more than we used to. But for this meal, you're going to need quite a bit of it. So I'm just going to get a whole new thing, even though I've got like so much bacon. Now, when it comes to cheese, that is actually up to you so far from what I've experienced. But what I'm going to be, where is it? What I'm going to be using is this Mexican style blend cheese. Really good, nice and creamy to it. You can try Swiss, whatever you like, cheddar. But for right now for this recipe, just get one big old bag of Mexican style or a smaller one depending on how much you're making. And then we're going to go straight over here to the cream cheese. Alright, now when I first did it, I only used one of these. It made a pretty good amount, but like I said, I'm cooking for multiple people, so if you're not doing that, maybe just one will be fine. But for right now, I'm getting 3 of them. And believe it or not, that's literally it. That's all your recipe right there. I've already got my seasonings at home, so don't really need much besides this. And let's check out. It's so funny seeing people stare at me when I was doing the bacon this like I said, I'm making a lot, so this price can be a lot lower depending on how much you want to make, but for the amount of people I'm making it for, it doesn't seem too bad. Take it. Take it. I just want to say, it's pretty crazy that this is what $40 worth of food looks like. 2 bags, and I can hold it with my finger. But hey, what can you do? You gotta eat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. Okay. Somebody likes me. In that right flow. Yeah. That mean old Aubrey just left me. Alright, Chloe. I'm gonna cook some. Oh, okay. It's like too close. Alright, like I said, I'm making a lot, so I'm going to be using this monstrous sized pan. It's very deep. You might want to use a deep dish type of pan for the simple fact that you're going to be combining a lot of the ingredients inside of the pan, and you don't want like a really shallow skillet because it's going to be harder when you start mixing everything together. The spill stuff, trust me, this stove was never this white when I first started making it because I use a very thin skillet pan. So let's get started. Now for all you keto people, pure coconut oil is great to cook with. Multiple other uses for it, but in terms of cooking, I absolutely love it. I was actually going to show you this in the store, but I said, you know what, I already have it, and I really don't need to show this off for video purposes because the thing is, I was going to have to put it back anyway, or A, act like I'm about to scan it, and then leave it, and then have someone else do, put it away. And I'm not a dick. That's a dick thing to do. It's 10 at night. I don't have time for that, neither do they. So let's get started on this. Like I said, first, coconut oil, and then also what I like to use is pure olive oil. I actually should have got some more of that. And you're also going to need butter. Now here's the thing, this is buttery spread. I had a whole bunch of Smart Balance, everything else. This was the last bit of butter that I have before I even started keto. I kind of recommend you going with a different source of butter, but I mean, taste-wise, it's not going to matter. But if you really care exactly, what's going on in your butter, because it says naturally and artificially flavored, more than likely it's more artificial than it is natural. So, but anyway, we're going to be using this and the coconut oil first in the skillet. And now, when it comes to the actual temperature, you want to set it to 7. Reason why I say that, I like to get the pan nice and hot, so when I add all the oils, it doesn't take forever for it to heat up, and I'm not waiting. But while I wait for this to get warm, and while I put the coconut oil and the butter in first, I'll let it all melt. Now, typically, you would use maybe 2 teaspoons of both. You want to get it nice and lathered in there. You don't want to get rid of any oils. Keep everything in here. But since I'm going to be making a lot, I'm going to be using 4 teaspoons and 4 teaspoons of butter as well. Now, while that does its thing, I'm going to use half of this onion. Like I said, you really won't need as much. Last time I used about that much of the onion and it was perfect. But like I said, once again, I'm cooking for more people. So I'm going to use about half of this, and then I'm going to use almost all of these mushrooms. Now with the mushrooms, I'll be dicing up both and then adding it to that nice sizzling, oily mess over there. Now I like to add the onions in first. I like them to cook a little bit faster than the mushrooms. As you can see, they're not perfect. Everything's not, smally diced. The onions are more going to be of a base in terms of flavor, and so are the mushrooms. Unless you want a heavy amount of onion or mushroom, I would add it. But the thing is, you won't really taste it as much once you see what we're doing with everything. I meant to mention, my wife and I love onions and mushrooms. This is actually quite a bigger pile than it looks on camera, and I'll probably be using most of this too as well. Like I said, the onions and mushrooms are more for you in terms of what you like. If you really don't like onions, I don't know what to tell you. But if you really don't like mushrooms, I still don't know what to tell you. Maybe there might be a good substitute for both. If you can think of one, let me know in the comment section, and I'll definitely try making that meal again, but without the onions and mushrooms, and I'll use your substitute instead. Now you want to cook everything until it gets nice and golden brown. You want the mushrooms to be soft. You want the onions to be very saturated. You want everything to kind of soak up all the oils we've used. You want most of the water all evaporated, and then we'll move on to the actual part of the cream cheese, which is interesting. Now here's how you want your onions and your mushrooms. Nice and simmered, golden. Onions are really soft. Mushrooms are relatively soft as well too. The thing is, you don't want it to get too sauteed because you're still going to be cooking with this. And if you overcook these and then you start adding more things, you're still cooking. Before you know it, you got this kind of mushiest type mess. And I like to have some of the flavor of the mushrooms and onions. It's 100% up to you, but I would get it right about to this level and then call it good. Now, when it comes to it being keto friendly, like I said, you're going to be using cream cheese. Cream cheese. What the heck did I just say? And it has 2 total carbs, 8 servings per container, but you're also going to be using the shredded cheese. So if you're really keeping track of your macros, that might be somewhat problematic for you. It's going to be a little bit difficult to measure everything out, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. If you have a way of making a large meal and measuring everything out to the extent of what you ate, if you're going to eat certain pieces amount of steak, X amount of the mushrooms and onions, etc., let me know in the comments. I'm still learning as much as I can with this keto diet, and I definitely like to know. Now, what I did was I kept my cream cheese out because I wanted to soften up a little bit. But the thing is, I'm going to be using 3 of them. When I first made this meal, I only needed 1. But like I said, once again, I'm making it for a lot of people. Now, what you want to do with the cream cheese is chop it up because you want it to cook. Like I said, your onions and your mushrooms are still going to be cooking while you're cooking. So you don't want them, getting a little bit too soggy, a little too burnt. So get the cream cheese nice and chopped up, and then what you're going to do is mix it all together and let it all melt. And then you're going to add your shredded cheese. Now, as you can see, the cream cheese is nice and frothy. When I first made this, I only used a 1/4 cup of the shredded cheese, about a 1/4 cup I should say, because the fact is, when I cook, I do everything by eye. If I'm doing macros, then of course I'll measure everything out and weigh it. But for this meal, I didn't. And then you want to mix everything together until it's a nice creamy mixture. Now at this stage, when everything is nice and creamy, it'll be a good idea to go ahead and turn everything down. To about 5 would be just fine. The thing is, with this, if you cook it too hard and too long, it can burn a little bit, but you're really not going to taste much of a difference. You're not going to notice that it's burnt. It's just going to be more for you to clean up after you're done. A little extra oil in the pan wouldn't hurt in terms of keeping it from sticking, but like I said, it's not really a problem. And as you can see, that is nice and creamy, and it's going to be so good. Now, what we're going to be adding next is the spinach. Now, when it comes to the baby spinach, you're dealing with about 2 total net carbs. From what it's on the container, that will be the entire package here. And I took it off the eye for a second so I can make this part of the clip. Typically, you just dump it right in there, but I'm obviously making a video right now, and you're watching me so that you know how to cook this. But anyway, like I said, you're dealing with 5 total carbs, 3 dietary fiber, so 2 total net carbs. When it comes to the baby spinach itself, you're going to be, getting quite a bit of fiber through this. And if your kids are not big into greens, this is a great way to introduce them, because once you add it all to this and you put everything else together, you won't even notice it. So if they see green and they run away from it, this would be a great way for them not even to notice it, but still love it. Now for us, we like spinach leaves, so I added quite a bit to this. It's up to you on that. It's all about, like I said, when I cook, I do everything by eye. So I put about a good handful size, which, I've got these monster bare hands, so I don't know what that will be for you. But just kind of do it to eye. However much spinach leaves you like to add, do it. And then you'll mix everything together until the spinach leaves are nice and wilted and they kind of mix well into the actual cream base itself. Alright, just like that, nice and creamy. Now you may be thinking to yourself, didn't you tell me that my kids probably won't even notice the spinach? Well, there's 2 things. 1, once you mix all the meat and everything, the color will change. And 2, if they notice it, do what my mom used to do, say eat it or don't eat anything at all. It's very simple than that. My mom didn't play either. If I didn't eat it, I just didn't eat anything at all, but typically when I ate it, I still liked it. So there's that. Go ahead and set your creation to the side, let it cool down for a little bit. Like I said, with the onions and the mushrooms, you're still going to be cooking everything. But now, it's time to go to the meats. Now here's the thing, don't concern yourself about getting another skillet. Keep everything in one, lower your dishes, and keep everything inside. So what I like to do is I add a little bit of olive oil. Now granted, I'm making more than I usually would. So I put about this meal, I only used 4 pieces of bacon. And since, once again, say it with me here, I'm making more than I usually would, I instead did 8. Now what you're going to do with the bacon is just kind of dice it up, cut it widthwise all the way through, and then add it to the meat. Now, mix up all the meat and everything, add salt and pepper to taste, pop a lid on it, watch it every once in a while, come back, stir it, check the tenderness of the meat. You don't want to overcook it. Obviously, you don't want to be chewing on this meat all day trying to eat this delicious meal. If you like yours a little medium rare, go ahead and cook it that way. You're still going to be cooking it a little bit more when it comes to adding back your cream and everything else. But of course, just keep an eye on it. And when you're done, put everything back together and everything will look like this. A nice thick and creamy stroganoff. And it just so happens that my wife just got home to enjoy it. So guys, that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think. If you have any great ideas for us to try, comment below. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. And we will talk to you soon.